Good morning, everybody. I took my mask off because we are separate for the most part, 6 feet, and we do have sneeze guards between our members here. Welcome. I'd like to call the March 2nd, 2021 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance. Jen Knoll.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
We've got payroll in the amount of $417,925.06.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payroll claims.
I'll second that. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Civil City claims in the amount of $273,940.40.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Discussion. I'm sorry, I apologize. The Regency Place Condominium Association, that was the failure for the complete contract. Is that what you've been working extremely hard on with Regency?
Yeah, with Mr. Raymond, yes.
So that just, the vendor did not complete the roof work, correct?
Correct,
And just so the bond money came to us and then is going to Regency, correct? Yeah.
correct.
We don't get to keep any portion of that.
I wish, no.
Further discussion?
It does seem like there should be some type of administration fee for that.
I don't know if
that
Nick
not allowed?
Minnick
Well,
can.
again, the bond, as I understand it, it's a contractor bond posted with the city, and it's a benefit of our citizens that in order to get a permit or licensing here in the city, that the contractors have to have that. So they did not comply with the contract, and therefore Regency is being benefited. I guess we could look at if there's an ordinance that the council could pass so that there could be some fee, because there was quite.
Is there a lot of time in that?
Oh, my goodness, Courtney.
I mean, yeah, there were several emails and phone calls, phone calls made, but, and I believe Nick Minnick told me it's the first time that we've ever gotten a payout from something like this, so.
Hey, well done.
Nice work, Courtney. All right, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Okay, we've got water claims in the amount of $46,006.56.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? Discussion?
Courtney, there was a check coming out for the bond because it was posted to the wrong account originally. I expected to see this credited somewhere else. Did that happen already? It's on page 2, the 16390.21.
The old
Yeah,
well?
yeah,
Old
Joni, that was
National.
paid out of,
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
and then finally, we've got sewage claims in the amount of $140,671.72.
Motion to approve payment.
Second? Discussion? if I could ask Mr. Jackson, and maybe this isn't appropriate, Jerry, so we have the MS4 program where we're spending the annual fee $21,000, and I want to make sure I'm not suggesting, I'm just asking, are we better off working through the county on MS4, or is that something would benefit if we had our own MS4 person? Not to put you on the spot.
No, we've had a lot of discussion in that vein. It's always been an issue of do we have enough funding to do it well in house. I suspect that as we get these new rates in place and we're better funded, we may go to a hybrid model where we do some tasks more in house and let the county do, say, like the educational portion of this. It's we don't have to pick one or the other. We can pick something in the middle, and it's worth having that discussion. We're not quite ready to make that transition, but we're getting close.
Did you say that's the next 2022 project?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Define MS4.
Jerry, define MS4 and what will we receive off of that?
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear.
Yes, could you define what MS4 is, what they do for us? And so-
Municipal separate storm sewer system. It's an NPDES, and there's another acronym, National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. It's an NPDES federal permit that we get that's administered through the state of Indiana. It requires that we educate the public about taking care of stormwater properly. It requires that we track construction and contractors and make sure there's not a bunch of sediment runoff. The county group meets once a month. There's 4 of us, and we discuss whatever stormwater projects are going on in the county and in the city. Every construction project going on in the city and in the county, they go visit and make sure things are being done right, that there's silt fence up, that they're not putting a bunch of dirt out in the street when they drive trucks in and out. It's our contribution compared to what other communities pay is pretty cost effective. If we do it in house, I don't know that we'll save money, but we're gonna have to look at it and see if we can.
Thank you, Jerry. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Okay. I've got the credit card list. May I move on to that?
Please.
Mayor? Okay. On an annual basis, the clerk treasurer is required to present to the Board of Public Works and Safety an inventory list of all credit cards for your review. I'm asking for board approval of same.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2021 credit card list.
I will second that. Discussion?
Have there been any issues in the past with fraudulent use or misappropriation on any of these cards? I'm assuming that the cards are listed in the city name and then in the employee's name?
They're listed in both, yep.
Yeah,
With
okay.
the exception, I think there's several at the police department, Joni, that are listed just in the name of the city, but they sign them out when they use them.
Is that the way we like doing it? Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Okay, and then we have vehicle in 2021 vehicle inventory. So on an annual basis, the clerk treasurer is also required to present to the Board of Public Works and Safety an inventory list of all vehicles for your review. I'm asking for board approval of same.
Make a motion to approve the 2021 vehicle inventory list.
I will second that. Discussion? And the no plated items are just because they don't need a plate, they're equipment?
Several are brand new from the police department, so I just don't have that information yet. I will get it and update. There is one vehicle at the police department that has a plate that, or the vehicle changes quite often.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
And then finally, we've got the conflict of interest form. So on an annual basis, the clerk treasurer is required to present to the Board of Public Works and Safety conflict of interest disclosure statements from council members, Board of Works members, and employees. This year, we have 7 conflicts of interest for your review, and I'm asking for the board approval.
Make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Discussion. I would just like to say, in a small community, this is important to have, but we have members, council members, we have committee members that are giving of their time to help our community grow, and at points there are conflicts, and the public can see these. It is available if they want to come to the clerk treasurer's office.
Yes, and they're recorded as well.
And they're recorded, so we try to be upfront with this, but individuals here also have to make a living, and sometimes those will cross paths, and we appreciate you being upfront with that. So, further discussion?
Are we requiring each council person or Board of Works member to fill out a conflict of interest?
So
policy
last year,
regardless of whether there is or
we
isn't?
had everybody fill one out.
Okay.
And this year, we filled out only those that had conflicts last year, so.
Look through to determine what were related parties within.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
gotcha.
And
Are
then,
these-
and then the ones that have substantial information to be recorded are also uploaded to the state's gateway site.
Oh, okay, great.
Mr. Otis, I thought
Yeah.
the state required everybody to fill out a conflict at the
No,
local
only if
level.
you have a conflict.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So on other boards, it might just be overkill to have everybody do it.
Correct, but it's required by state Oh, it's required by state statute for government individuals, so, and it's only for people that have conflicts, and obviously, you may not know each year if you're gonna have a conflict, so it may not come
Until it
up.
occurs.
Correct.
Legislators always have to fill them out every year.
Right.
So I wasn't sure if local elected officials have to.
Right, only if you have one.
Okay.
So if something comes along during the year, do you then have somebody fill out a conflict of interest
Sure. Yep.
policy?
Sure.
Okay, great.
And that does happen from time to time.
I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Department reports. We'll begin with who's in-house. Jen Knoll.
Good morning. I'm just going to report on the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So, should I scoot up? Working on getting commission members signed up for the Fair Housing Conference, which is virtual this year. And then also there will be some exciting news forthcoming with some awareness campaigns that we'll be doing monthly, brought to you by the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So looking forward to that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we encourage the public to attend those meetings if they have an issue, would like to share it with the board. Jen is lead on that, so we're excited about that, the work that that committee's going to do. Jeff Batchelor?
Morning. We're right under 700 violations for the month. We're probably looking at starting a dumpster program, so everybody knows, probably within the next month. Once the weather's good for a couple weeks and stuff, then we'll get it out there and get it started. That's all I have.
Jeff, and I just want to add, because I know people get upset about the demolitions that are happening, and I just want to remind people, the first thing you do, whether people are living in it, when people are living in these buildings, the first thing that really isn't your job, but you do, is to find alternative housing for these individuals before we condemn a property, demolition of property, and I just think that's important to know. The first thing you're doing, going above and beyond, is to find alternative housing, and many times you're working harder than the individual is that you're trying to help.
Yeah, I work hand in hand with Lisa Pierzakowski. The last thing we want to do is throw somebody out on the street. We had somebody in the last couple of weeks that we found her housing. She's got a dog. We can't find no landlords that lets dogs go with them. She refuses to give up her dog. So, I mean, it's hard to find housing when people don't want to take, and they'd rather live on the street with their dog than with their family in a house.
But as well, I mean, you are working, we're not forcing people out, but we're also not going to let people live in flop houses where there's one bathroom for 10 different apartments potentially. We're setting a new standard, and that, having people live in inhumane conditions is also not acceptable. So I just want to state that for people that are questioning what we're doing. And many of these properties haven't had someone living in them for some time.
Yeah, for a long period of time. And also, this is not a moneymaker for the city. We take and do this for the safety and security of the people that's in the houses. For people, a lot of them have had people that's been flopping in them, where they're going in there, staying there, they're drug houses. So it's for the safety and security of the neighborhoods and of the people for the city of LaPorte.
And my cell phone, if anybody would like to call me direct on it, is 363-7293. And your number, Jeff, because we'll be glad to talk to anybody.
219-775-3610.
Thank you. Tom Casey, Plan Department.
Thanks, Mayor. This is the first week where we don't have any meetings in the evening, so we're using it to catch up on financial review, budgeting, and then also Healthcare Foundation grant writing.
Has the council officially approved the Heart of LaPorte plan? Did we actually vote on that?
We did not vote on it. It was presented, so I think that would be the next step, is to vote on endorsing that.
So we need to put that on the next council meeting. Make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jess Bruder?
Good morning. My only update is that I wanted to share, LEAP was kind enough to share Lindsay Johnkind with us. So a couple days a week, she's gonna be coming to help with the website improvements so that we can get that process moving along. So just really grateful to Bert Cook, and Lindsay Johnkind for lending me her time.
And by the fall, we expect a website, new website, so that's great. Thank you. Bert Cook, LEAP.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Board of Public Works. Just one quick update. We do have the Disney Institute, virtual Disney
event coming up
Institute
tomorrow.
event
Tomorrow in the morning at 8 a.m. Still have a few seats available for that. If anyone is interested, we'd love for you to participate. And that'll close out our Lilly grant with the school corporation that involved 4 years of bringing the Disney Institute to LaPorte. So we're proud to bring that to a close and thank Jen Hunt for and the school corporation for all their work in partnering with LEAP on that initiative. Thank you very much.
Or
really tired.
We're stunned. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll come back to department heads. We will move forward now to new business, and we do have a request for use, MAB Production Street. And if it's okay with you, Ms. Romine, I'm gonna have Michael Bernacki come to the mic and explain this exciting project.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come to the podium. I'm Michael Bernacki, and I'm here with my associate Coral Dorsch, and we're representing MAB Crew Productions. It's a company that specializes in feature film. It's a new company, but we also are developing musicians too. It's kind of an exciting second life for myself, actually. But we are doing a program, basically, that is sort of unique. It's sort of exciting. We have a script that we've written many years ago, but it has come to fruition right now. We are doing a filming of what is called a trailer. It's a feature trailer, and it's going to be shot here, right here in LaPorte. It's going to be shot on 210 Crescent Drive at the old Ridgeway farm. And also, some of the indoor shoots are going to be done at Nova. Jim Nova is one of his buildings that's isolated in the back of his property where his business is at, and that's where one of the day shoots and one of the night shoots are going to be. We're here and humbly requesting that Crescent Drive be closed, and I've passed out a packet that has an illustration of the exact area where we'd like to see if it's possible to close that road. As you know, when you do a feature film, sound is real sensitive, and any sort of car noise, horns, any sort of people walking around that is picked up very, very easily. So it's really crucial for the integrity of this particular filming that we have that particular section of the road closed. And if you look at the diagram, we're asking for just the one section, and traffic, and we're quite aware of the Kessling. Kessling has a lot of traffic during the times that we're shooting, especially in the morning and when school gets out. But, and we're willing to work with the city on that too. We could possibly even open it for maybe 45 minutes or whatever to make it that possible. But whatever consideration we could get, we would really, really appreciate it. We're going to hire some off-duty policemen to kind of monitor the traffic, making sure that everyone observes the closure. But as we know, Kingsbury Avenue's there, which is just a short hop and a jump to 35, so it's not too much of a diversion. But we were asking that the city please consider us closing that particular area. And if you had any questions, I'd be glad to answer it.
Crescent Drive again, off 18th.
It really is 18th Street where, what he's at. It turns into Crescent, but I think most people think of it as 18th Street.
I thought it was at 18th
Yeah.
also, but it does, in Crescent, as you know, kind of curves to the north and ties into to Kingsbury Avenue on the other side of the Presbyterian Church.
So it's basically the 35 to 18th, is that?
Correct.
To Ridgefield,
Yep.
actually.
So it's basically 35 to actually Kingsbury Avenue.
And what is this film regarding? What is it about?
Regarding, it's a psychological thriller about America's most prolific female serial killer who happens to have been from LaPorte. And when I was a really young boy, I used to listen to my grandfather, Angelo, actually. And I mean, I'm like 8, 10 years old, and he's telling me about when in 1908, he happened to actually peddle produce to Belle Gunnis, which is a really, really a neat story. And so what I did is I fabricated a love story between Belle Gunnis's foster daughter, who happens to have the name Jenny Olson, and my grandfather. So there's a romantic subplot that kind of drives the whole storyline forward. It's a whole different approach to the subject matter of Belle Gunnis. It's been tried so many times before, but it's the romantic subplot that really, really drives this story ahead. So.
Everybody loves a romance.
Right. You gotta-
I don't care who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, but just think about Angelo, and he falls in love with this girl. Who knows that his future mother-in-law happens to be America's most prolific female serial killer? I mean, that's kind of a bad choice right there. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We have an outstanding cast to say the least. Our star is Tracy Lords, and our director is Tom Logan, who is internationally known. He's an award winner. He's got many books out. Most scholastic people who have required reading subject matter, it's his books. I mean, he is just an amazing guy. We have cast coming from 5 different states, including California, New York, we have Florida, we have Chicago. I mean, they're coming from all over. It's a SAG production, and all the SAG rules, all the COVID safety rules are being observed. And I have a list of all that also included in this. As far as insurance, we've met all the insurance requirements, I believe. And for those who have the packet, I put a synopsis and a log line enclosed also.
Well, we also have some potential male victims. Brian Chalik, Nick Otis can also play those parts.
We could arrange that very easily. We could arrange that.
I just would like Chief Breton and Mike Fraze, from your perspective, if we're looking to close Crescent Drive from Tuesday, April 27th at 10 a.m. and end on Wednesday, I'm sorry?
One of the other things said 9 a.m.
Oh, is it 9? Is it 9 or 10?
That's what I have on the
Basically, one day starts at 9, the other day starts at 10, but it's, once again, we were a little bit flexible. We're gonna have people manned at those 2 areas where we're doing blockades, or where we'd like to ask for blockades, requesting blockades. And, and everybody's on radios. If there's some kind of an emergency or something, that's very easily attended to. So I'd like to just mention that. Everyone's on headsets, and everyone knows what's going on and is aware of everything at any given time. But, and doing a movie, it's kind of hard to say exactly. That's why I threw a rain day in there. This could very easily be just a 2-day closure, but I wanted to request 3, because if it rains, let's say it rains on the first day, then we have to go to Nova's and do our indoor shoot on that day, on Tuesday.
Sure.
And so we have to have Thursday. But we're looking at 2 days, if the weather's good, it would be, it'd still end up 2 days, but I'd like to just say, but those 3 days were the potential days that we would have the closure. Exactly, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but
Curious just about the bus situation. I think it's a great idea. I want to promote it, and I hope that the fire chief and police chief are behind it. But
Yeah.
I am also, I have school-aged kids, so
yeah.
I
and
know how
that's-
that works with getting them to and from school in the bus situation.
And we'd like to, if it's such that in the morning, for example, if there's a certain hour that we could, maybe after the buses go through, and I've sat there and watched the buses come and go. So what's happened is, like, for example, let's say 9 o'clock, 9:30, I mean, buses are pretty much done by then. The whole thing is we're in total cooperation with what the city wants us to do. If we have to open and close certain times, we will do that. And we'll work around it.
Chief Breton, Chief Snyder, Mike Fraze, questions, concerns?
I think well, we're good.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with it, especially as you mentioned, if we have access, if we need to get in there, if it can be, the barricades can be broken and we have to get through there. I'm okay with that.
And Mike Fraze, barricades, we can help set up.
Yeah, we can get the barricades set out there. We got the class 3s we can use out there.
And we would have policemen or security people. We're looking at hiring the local police off duty to help, there's quite a few Laporte people involved in this project too, to say the least. And I would say and reiterate that we will work around, which we have to do to make this happen. And an opening and closing should not be a problem. And we'll just hold up our principal photography for that hour or whatever, but we'll make it happen. And but it's really crucial that the road is closed when some of the shooting is being done, because it's the proximity of the road and where we're shooting in front of the home. And there's a little, it's like a makeshift little road. It's in front of that house. There's going to be some filming done there too. So we want to make sure that there's perfectly quiet conditions for us to do the shoot.
And you'll be working with the school corporation as well.
That is something I need your advice on what I should do there. I have not done that. I'm talking to you for the first time.
To Mark Francis, the school superintendent.
Okay. That'd be something really great to know, and we'll be glad to work with them. Once again, I said, we're at the mercy of you guys, and we want this to be a very good production. And in order to do that, there's certain hoops we have to jump through, and one of them is sound. We have to make sure that we have a pristine sound condition to do the films correctly.
Great, we'll set that up.
Great.
Do I have a motion? I will second that. Further discussion?
Mayor, I would probably want some, not necessarily barricades, but something directing traffic at Kingsbury and 18th, eastbound traffic on 18th, taking them down Kingsbury versus going to Crescent.
Coming through Crescent. And our street department will work with you. Our police can work with you as well.
Appreciate that.
In the
That's
meantime, you've given us enough notice, so we appreciate that. And we'll also connect you to the school superintendent.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your consideration too.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move back to department heads. We do have Tim Werner, Water Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Board. Just bad news. We lost Mark Lynn. He was an operator of 32 years for the Water Department, retired back in January of 20. He passed away last night, so I just wanted to make everybody aware of that situation and keep his family and friends in their thoughts and prayers. Just to get started here, I've turned in some specs on a new war wagon to Nick Minnick, the city engineer. As people who are not familiar with our term, the war wagon, that's the truck we pull out when it's time to go to war with a water main break or any kind of leak throughout the city. It's an imperative piece of equipment for us. It's over 23 years old. We're starting to have some issues with that. So I'm going to be coming to the board with some quotes here soon on purchasing a new war wagon. We're also looking to buy a new line stop machine. What that does is inserts a plunger into a water main to be able to stop the flow. We do have one in service now. It's been in service since the mid 70s. So we're looking for another same brand hydrostop. That way those parts can interchange the cutter heads. What that piece of equipment allows us to do is some of the work we've been talking about through the rate increase and the broken valves and stuff around town. It'll allow us to do the majority of that work in-house to make our bond money and other monies go a little further, so we don't have to hire any outside contractors. We're talking with Jerry. We'll be able to help him on his number and letter streets by doing some line stops in that area to try to keep his costs down on his project also. I do want to remind the board and the public that both those pieces of equipment were in our capital plan. Those funds are not coming out of the bonds or the rate increase that we just passed late last year. It will be coming out of our operating fund and not part of that bond. Other than that, we're just gearing up for summer projects, getting ready to go, and that's about it. Thank you.
And once again, thoughts and prayers to Mark's family.
Thank you.
From all. Mike Frey, Street Department.
We're out patching. We're going to be picking up brush and start street sweeping.
Is Total Patch working now?
Yes, it's working. We on our way to get more stone because we ran out of stone.
And I just want to remind everybody, you can email on our website with your concerns, under your concerns, and let us know about a pothole, and we will be out there to fix it as we become pothole-free LaPorte. So thank you, Mike. Paul Breton, please.
Good morning. Just make it real quick. The street crimes unit started in 1st of February. And despite the blizzard, these guys really produced for two officers. They've made 11 felony arrests, 1 misdemeanor, recovered a stolen vehicle, requested 3 warrants, and assisted other agencies 18 times. They've taken a multitude of methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine off the street, and prescription pills. I can only imagine what they're going to do as the warmer weather gets here. Also have them assigned assisting with the tire slashing to work that as well. Other than that, we're surging ahead. We're back up to our numbers. We have 5 that will graduate April 16th, I'm sorry. We're swearing one in today that will start Academy April 12th. And we are to hire one. Our merit commission's gonna try to fast track one in here. And then I'll have the K-9 contract here shortly.
Chief, thank you for the quick response on the 40 tires that were slashed. We are going to catch you, and we will put the full force of the law onto you and the court system when we do catch you, because that's unacceptable. So we're coming. So great work there. And now will Jordan here, that's swearing in today, will he be working with an officer until April 12th?
Yes, we're going to start orientation, get him around, take him to the sheriff's department, the prosecutors, the courts, and then he will be assigned with an officer until his academy start.
Chief Snyder, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mayor. We are busy right now with a lot of the department needs to recertify for their EMR, EMT, or paramedic certification. So a lot of medical training going on. In that same breath, we have with LaPorte County EMS, really, we've relaxed some of the restrictions that we have in place for our medical responses, kind of back to the same level that we were at in the summer when the COVID numbers were down at that time. So trying to get back to some semblance of normal here. And with the thawing temperatures out there, always keeping a focus on the ice rescues and making that at the forefront. So that's where we're at.
Beth West, Transport.
Morning. Internally, we're working on getting a computer up and running for our staff to be able to do online training that is overdue. Also working on a biannual with NERC. It's a report. The last time it was done, obviously, was in 2019. It's audit basically of all of our operations. We do one on paper, and then they also come in and do a site review. Externally, for the public, transport is opening up slowly. We are now starting to take everyone to grocery stores every day, allowing house to house. However, we're still limiting the number of people on our buses to 4 to help with social distancing. And per the CDC guidelines, everyone is still required to wear a mask when they're riding public transportation. That's it.
Mark Schreiber, Park Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Update for the community. The park board did approve the installation of a disc golf course at Kessling Park. So we're excited about that project and moving into funding for it and also looking into design. The park board also selected Ed Fay and Fay Marina to operate a 30-slip dock on Stone Lake that was replacing the Hermart docks where Jim Miller and his wife Ange have retired. Also getting a contract out to Cubers as they were renewed earlier in the year to operate the docks on Pine Lake. Also, the park board approved rentals for kayak launches on Stone Lake near where we were constructing the new kayak launch. We're working on getting the details all put together in contracts, and we'll get that information out to the public as soon as we're ready to launch that rental program. So that's where we're at, and just excited to see the snow melting and ready for park season to kick in.
Minnick Engineering.
We're just continuing to gear up for this coming year, just to keep the board informed. Projects that will probably be closer in the spring. We're looking at finishing our 2020 second round of paving from last year. We'll have the 18th Street Greenway. We'll probably do an ADA sidewalk program in addition to the 50/50 sidewalk program. And then in the summer, we'll see some additional paving. So those are just kind of the significant projects coming up. There'll be a couple other park or trail projects likely in the fall. And did want to let the board know Sarah Nimitz here in the engineering department submitted a very well put together grant to the DNR for the next phase of the Stone Lake Loop Trail, which takes it from where it ended to the ADA kayak launch past Cummings Lodge and then to the parking area along Waverly. So if we're successful with that grant, that would likely start in the spring, but really excited to have a very good quality grant get submitted to the DNR for a trail program.
Great. And Bert Cook, I wasn't sure if you were cut off, if you had anything else to add from Lee.
I did not, Mayor. Thank you, though.
Thank you. All right, if you're a department head that does not have business before Board of Works, have a great day. You can go ahead and we'll move on to Chief Paul Breton, approval for contract to purchase K9.
Before you, you'll see the K9 contract with FMK9. They currently take care of our 2 dogs that we have and take care of the monthly training. He's offered us quite a deal, free housing included for the trainer. The handler has been picked. It's Officer Ryan Allen. He's very excited. We're excited to have him. This class will start the first part of April upon approval. You'll notice through the contract, we have it trained on heroin, everything but marijuana. We are not going to train the dogs on marijuana. Looking forward to what the state may do, that this may be legal. We don't want to lose a dog over that. Tracking, building search, article, evidence, obedience, everything. They do an outstanding job. Our current 2 handlers have nothing but praise to talk about this company.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of a new K9.
I'll second that. Discussion, and Chief Breton, I think with Nick Otis bringing it up yesterday, So if you were to train this canine for marijuana and marijuana became legal in the state of Indiana, the dog would have to retire, correct?
Retrain them. Some animals can be retrained, but more oftentimes they would have to be retired, yes. And I just want, this was all on donations. None of this is coming out of our general fund. This account's been building over time. We had the generous donation of $10,000 late last year. We've just been waiting for the manpower to get somebody where we can afford an officer to be gone for 6 weeks.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Chief. Jerry Jackson.
I'm sorry, I had the mute going. I don't have the agenda in front of me. What item is up?
First item is invoice number 12724 for lakefront sewer improvements from USI.
Okay. Report that the Lakeside project is ongoing. The Selge has got two crews working now, and they're actually connecting houses, they got the main sewers in and they're connecting, so they're doing good work, and they're having some difficulties getting customers because a lot of the customers along Lakeside are living in other communities and are here in the summer, so they're having some difficulty getting everyone on board, but they're doing good work. I'd recommend payment of this pay request that's been reviewed and ready to go.
Make a motion that we approve payment.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Jerry, before we move here to the Nice Engineering, we do have a conflict as Jess Romine's accounting firm does do business with Nice, and based on that conflict, she will be abstaining. So we don't have a quorum, but so we don't slow the project down, and Mr. Kosher, who could not be here today, is supportive. Thank you. I can vote on this according to Mr. Otis, and then we can receive written confirmation
And then
from
reaffirm
Mr.
it,
Kosher.
and then vote on it.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then vote on it at the next meeting while you're doing the work. Can they hear, or?
No, I'm guessing. I can hear him.
Do we want to do both of them, or just do the one that's more time sensitive is the phosphorus removal work?
Yep, let's do that, just that one we'll do them separate.
Okay, so we'll do separate. We will do, Jerry, did you say you would like to do the phosphorus removal design service?
That one is more time sensitive. We've got a deadline to submit the permit application for construction. We don't have to do construction, we're just gonna get the permit in by April. And or actually by May. And so we need to get going on the engineering so that we can get that construction application in. We've got I think we got a year and a half to get construction started, and that's not an issue. It's just we got to get in that application and get the design done.
Okay, just to confirm, the letter and number street proposal can wait till the next Board of Works meeting without putting us behind?
They won't get started on it for 2 weeks, so it does. Yeah.
We'll have to go ahead and do both of them today and do, if we can, under the same.
I think Nick said to do them separately.
Right.
I don't vote at the same time, correct?
Correct, but we can do both of them today. So Jerry, this will allow you to move forward, and we'll have a confirming email from Mr. Kosher, and then we'll come back at the next meeting and ratify it, even though you can move forward after approval today.
Okay, sounds good.
So I will make a motion for the approval of the proposal for the phosphorus treatment project using Nice Engineering. Can Jess Romine second that, Nick?
Without voting?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll second.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 1-0 with one Jess Romine abstaining. And then we will have written confirmation from Mr. Kosher later today approving this measure. So now I will make a motion for proposal for a professional design engineering services letters and number streets sewer separation project. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I do have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 1-0. Jess Romine will abstain. And Mr. Mark Kosher will email confirmation of his approval of this proposal as well.
Confirmation of his vote.
Confirmation of his
Certainly
vote.
has the right not to approve it.
And then we will actually ratify it officially at the next meeting.
Correct.
Thank you. I appreciate we're keeping us moving.
Well, as long as we don't slow those projects down, especially the number and letter streets, that's important. So thank you, Jerry. Jen Knoll, health plan agreements.
Good morning. So before you, you have the health plan agreements as well as the plan summaries, which are the thicker packets. So every year we have to approve those summary plan descriptions. I have reviewed them along with General Insurance Services, our broker. So all of the changes or modifications that were made for all three of the plans are accurate. So I'm asking for your authorization for Clerk Treasurer Parthun to sign off on the summary plan description agreement pages.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion. Jen, any highlights you would like to share?
Vision, it was changed to I guess the benefits, I should say, were changed to a calendar year rather than a 12-month period. It was a rolling 12-month period, or 12 consecutive months. It is now a January through December plan year to coincide with our dental and medical plans. That's the one major change that was made. But that should be easier for, our members to participate in that plan and understand.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Next, I have the Wellport, City of LaPorte Health and Wellness Center Agreement. So we are one of the businesses that use the Wellport Employee Health and Wellness Center. This is an updated contract with them. It would renew annually. This first term would be March 5th through December 31st of 2020. And then it would renew annually beyond that, unless one of the parties terminates the agreement based on the language within the contract. The main difference in this, in the services and fees here, the services remain the same. However, we are going to switch to a per member per month model, which should be easier for invoicing as well as payment terms to determine how much we are paying on a monthly basis.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Jen, approximately how many people are being covered by this? How many members are there?
All members that are on our health plan have access to Wellport, so it's around 437 individuals, covered lives.
And this is a great program, and we really do have a very competitive program, and so I'm glad you were able to work them down to negotiate and get this contract added. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you. Andy Snyder, request to purchase extrication equipment.
Have some quote from Powell Rescue Systems for a Genesis boot foundation tool 3.0. Right now says it is in excess of the $10,000 limit that I'm allowed to spend as a department head. A little background behind this is that this is replacing a tool that, in a roundabout way, we were delivering a fire truck back in August to for sale, and part of the equipment on that truck was stolen at the time during transit. Insurance has finally paid up on the loss for the equipment that was stolen, and we've been running with a backup piece of equipment on one of our trucks since that time, since we had to make good on sending the equipment that we had promised to the department that purchased the truck. So this is finally, we're at the point where we're going to replace the extrication equipment that was, like I said, in a roundabout way stolen. The one difference with this is that this, you'll notice, is going to be a battery powered unit, which is what we have on all the other trucks. Piece of equipment that was stolen was a hydraulic, but all of most everyone, including ourselves, are moving toward the battery powered for efficiency. So I would ask approval for me to accept this quote and purchase this equipment.
Motion. I'll second that. Discussion.
Chief Snyder, I'm just trying to understand, is this going down south to the people who purchased the truck? We're replacing it for them, or this is going into our equipment list for the city?
This is our equipment. We've already sent them one of our backup pieces, which we had to put another piece, even a lower rated backup piece on our truck to make good on the sale of the equipment. So this one will go back into frontline service, and we'll be able to take that reserve piece off of our truck and still have one in reserve, which is a hydraulic unit, but we'll be fully battery operated with all the extrication equipment once we purchase this.
And Andy, did you say insurance will be paying how much of a portion of this?
Majority of it is paid by insurance. I think about $6,000 was in insurance, plus we received a donation of $2,500 or $3,000 that will cover that, and then there will be a small amount that will come out of our budget.
Further discussion? None. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Andy. We will now move to Nick Minnick, LPA consultant contract.
You have before you a contract for the next phase of the Chessie 2 trail. This is for right-of-way services. So right-of-way engineering is included in the contract that we've previously signed with Lockmuller. This contract is in the amount of $24,125. It's 80/20, so we pay 20% of that. So our cost is right around $2,400. I would recommend approval of this contract. It is a standard boilerplate contract.
Nick, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you caught the last part. He's asking for approval. He said this is a standard contract with them.
All right. Nick, can you hear us now?
Yes. Hear you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Discussion? And again, Nick, I know we can barely hear you, but can you just explain this?
So this contract is for right-of-way services. We've previously signed a contract for preliminary engineering and right-of-way engineering. This is the next stage that we are able to take on once our NEPA document is approved, that's very near. So we'd like to get this contract moving so that we can move forward with right-of-way acquisition and keep the Chessie 2 project on track. We're looking at construction next year, so within the fiscal year, but next year.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Acceptance. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, the next item, through the council, we've accepted the streets within the Newport Landing development, but we have never actually recorded a plat of right-of-way. We're finishing up this plat of right-of-way. I sent it out draft. There are still a couple edits to make on it. And then the redevelopment commission will also sign this. So I'm requesting essentially acceptance of the plat of right-of-way, which is a formal recorded document that will go to the county. And this is acceptance of the streets within the Newport Landing development. Again, this is a little bit of a formality. The council already approved accepting these streets when they named them and gave them speed limits and did all that. But this does put it on a document that gets recorded at the county as well.
Motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0. Now exciting news. Nick, lead the way.
Within the next 2 weeks, so before the next Board of Works meeting, we want to put out to advertise the 18th Street Greenway project. This is the trail portion of the 18th Street improvements we've already completed, and then also the sidewalk portion along Kingsbury Ave to fill in a sidewalk gap. Great opportunity to promote health. Healthcare Foundation has funded this project. It'll hopefully get students able to safely walk to school, but then also, anybody else who wants to get to Kessling Park or anywhere kind of along that south end of the city will now have a way to get places via bike or walk or other means other than a car. So great project, and we are looking to advertise that within the next 2 weeks. So we wanted to bring it to the board to request to advertise that.
Do I have a motion for this 18th Street Greenway, or better known as Frankie Highway? Councilman Tim Frankie, I know, has been lead on helping us to do this, and this is a fantastic project that will provide this greenway from I Street to Kingsbury and then go north on Kingsbury Ave, keep the kids safe and encourage more out and about walkability. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion. And Nick, when do we expect this to be completed?
The goal would be, I'd say by June, but hopefully before that. So if we put it out to advertise, if we advertise an award in May, I think that's a good timeline.
Great. And Nick, the other part we always get on sidewalks is along the cemetery, walking up A Street, that could potentially be something in the future as well.
That's a little bit more of a challenge. Per the agreed order we have with the court, filling in sidewalk gaps is a lower priority to fixing the existing ADA issues we have throughout the city. So when we do projects like this, we have to seek funds outside of what we would normally spend on ADA improvements. I know I've kind of talked to Jerry Jackson a little bit, and I know we're doing some stormwater improvements in that area, and there's always a chance that down the road we do a larger project on A Street and tie it to some of the stormwater improvements that need to happen in the area as well. So we don't have a timeline, but we know there's a need, and we'd really love to fill that gap as well. The dollars that we're required to spend on ADA improvements, we really need to be gearing towards fixing ADA issues, and I think Healthcare Foundation is always supportive. So if there's a way to tie it into health and create an opportunity to fill that gap that way, we can always look at that route. But it's not an immediate project, although it is an immediate need. So we'll do our best to keep that moving and get it in as soon as we can program it, essentially.
There's a bunch of sidewalks in the Monroe, so of course we'll put those on the list, but that's not a bad way to do it when we're doing a utility project, is get sidewalks in.
No.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 2-0.
Mayor, if I may, we had a couple questions directly related to a couple of these items, so I thought, well, Nick Minnick is
Sure.
on here. Joe Buda asked, when are the lettered streets going to get paved? And I thought maybe Mr. Minnick could comment on the timeline for paving.
It depends on which letter street. So, I mean, we've been doing quite a bit of paving in some of the number and letter streets recently, streets that needed resurfacing in particular. The schedule that we have for the number and letter separation project that Jerry had on the agenda earlier, most of those schedules look at the earliest construction would be this fall. Design would kick off and then we'd look at either fall or spring construction for those. Numbers and letters elsewhere, we use our asset management system to determine which streets go into our paving programs. But then at the same time, as we now have a kind of functioning stormwater utility, we can start to look at how we pair those projects with stormwater projects with paving projects, making sure that we're using every dollar as efficiently as possible and getting all of our streets in a condition that can be maintained for the long term. So we don't have a specific date for each number and letter street, but we are, chipping away at them as quickly as we can.
Great. And the second question? Yep, Chris Clenard, two items from Mr. Clenard. First, he said exciting news about the improvements on 18th Street in Kingsbury, but then he asked, is there anywhere you can get information online for the second phase of Chessie Trail?
So we're going to have another public meeting. There isn't anything online right now, but I can email the information we do have. We're at about a stage 3 design with that. So we've already submitted our stage 1 to NDOT and we're kind of moving past that. So we do have quite a bit of design completed and we're, we can make that available. You can just send an email to nminnick@cityoflaportein.gov. That's the easiest way to get a document like that.
Great progress happening, but we're not forgetting about the basics, the service that we do have to, we are responsible for. So a combination, you heard Mike Fraze talk about the total patch, which is a heated system that can be filling potholes 12 months a year. To these new projects you're hearing. So we're balancing well. Our team is working extremely hard despite 25% of our budget being reduced due to the property tax caps. We are still moving this community forward and we are going to be competing with the best. So with that, do we have any other
Yeah, Mayor, I do want to mention that when we talk about these really exciting projects like 18th Street Greenway and the Chessie Trail, these are projects that we do above and beyond with dollars that wouldn't normally be used for paving or ADA improvements or anything like that. So 18th Street Greenway is a grant that we leveraged based on the improvements we already made to the roadway. And that's the Healthcare Foundation, such a great organization in our community that sees the need for students to be able to safely get to the middle school and junior high campus, Kessling campus. And then when we talk about Chessie Trail, the Healthcare Foundation is covering the match for that too. So that's a federal grant and that's a CMAQ grant. So that's congestion mitigation and air quality, which is really geared towards things like trails that potentially take people off the road. So there's less of an air quality issue and get people moving. Again, those grants, CMAQ money can't be used to just pave a street. So these projects that are really key to our city kind of continuing to move forward are not going to take away from our basic need to improve and maintain infrastructure like streets and sidewalks. So just I hope that people, understand that we're doing great great things in these projects with trails and whatnot, but it is not in any way intended or going to be taking away from our ability to pave streets and fix sidewalks as quickly and as efficiently as we can as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other unfinished business?
Is Jess Bruder?
So we do have a retail product license agreement that Jess Bruder was going to present. Because Mark isn't here, Mark Kosher, there is again a conflict as a client that Jess Romine deals with. And so we will hold this agreement till the next meeting.
Lots of Jesses.
Any other unfinished business?
Mayor, on watching live today was former celebrity retired Mike Arnett from, I believe,
Oh, my
one of the
goodness.
Carolinas, I believe. So
He,
still interested in what's going on up here.
we love hearing from Mike Arnett, and I was glad to see that they have access to wireless technology on the golf course. Hello to Mike Arnett from everybody in LaPorte. We will move now to Chief Breton. We're excited about this day, the swearing in of another officer, Jordan Petty, that we're proud of and excited to have. So welcome Chief Breton and our team. And if you'd like to introduce Mr. Petty and his family, I think it'd be right here. We can step around and aside.
There, you got to get him a City of LaPorte mask.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chief Breton has those, so we will.
This is, you have it, you turned it, I'd like to introduce Jordan Petty. You want to tell a little bit about yourself? Swear you in here?
Jordan Petty, 22. Graduated college last year with a bachelor's and minor. I played baseball my whole life.
Got to introduce your parents.
Oh, this is my mom, Tamara, and my dad, Stephen. My dad works at Precoat Metals, and my mother, she's a great mom. She's stay-at-home mother right now.
Welcome. We're glad to have you here in LaPorte and excited for Jordan.
Well done, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
And he's a baseball player, that's what we love. Are we ready? You got everything in that? You're ready? Okay. You think I know this by heart by now, I've done so many of these. Need you to raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jordan Petty,
Do solemnly swear that I will,
do solemnly swear that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the laws and Constitution of the state of Indiana,
the laws and Constitution of the state of Indiana,
and I will,
and I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully execute the position of patrol officer
faithfully execute the position of patrol officer
for the city of LaPorte, Indiana.
for the city of LaPorte, Indiana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Mom, Dad, you want to come take a picture with him?
Could we also thank Brian Chalik and Wally Brath from the Police Merit Commission who hired this young man, and I think they're excited as well.
We'll get some pictures with the merit commissioners too. Since we're really pushing them for that next hire.
Awesome. Chief and Mayor, can I get you to step in as well?
All these tall people, I'm gonna. I'll go to this side.
Really quick, 1, 2, 3. And one on the phone. Hold on. All right.
Merit commissioners?
Wally?
You talk about short, that's here.
Want me to get you a stool, Brian?
Hey,
Don't hide the heaters.
everybody needs advice.
Good luck, Jordan.
And the merit commission has promised me they're gonna have one ready for this next academy in April, so we're ready to go with somebody, so we'll be doing this again soon, I hope.
We're excited. Anything you want to say, Jordan? This is your chance.
Thank you. My best to you guys. Thank you.
Welcome. With that, is there any other business? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second that. We are adjourned. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some signature.